Hey there, crafters. Welcome back to She's Crafty Paperworks. This week, it's all about masculine card making. Many card makers struggle with not knowing how to create cards for the men in their lives. So stick around because I'm going to ease those fears with lots of examples and some tips along the way. Before we get started, I want to preface that I'm not very fond of the term masculine cards because cards inherently do not have a gender, but I also recognize that as card makers, we want to cater to the recipient. And that's a point that I'm going to come back to. But for now, one of the best pieces of advice I can give you if you are ever stuck on what to make is to focus on shapes. Regardless of who the recipient is, shapes, whether geometric stencils and nesting dies or groovy specialty dies like the three shown here, shapes are timeless. These were my husband's cards from my two sons and me. I used the colors from a Christmas pack to coordinate the cards. A little extra, I know. Along those lines, classic shapes like cupcakes and cakes or even Christmas trees are other timeless shapes that you can rely on. By the way, I often hear people say that men's cards are boring because card makers can't use any of the fun stuff. I don't think that's true. Two of the previous cards had glitter, and this one has gold foiling, gold glitter, and it's on a wobbler. Another go-to tip that I often rely on is to grunge it up. Now, suppose you are more of a clean and simple card maker, and in that case, you can achieve grungy looks with alcohol inks like these two cards here. Or you can go full-on mixed media. This card here incorporates mica sprays on top of the alcohol inks, along with some distress inks to age up the images and sentiment. This card here has several mica sprays on top of an embossed background of geometric shapes. If you're ever unsure about incorporating flowers or things that you may associate with being more feminine, then think about colors. And no, I'm not talking about those pinks and blues. I mean, you can keep the colors neutral, like this black and white card. Or you could recreate scenes from the natural world, like this galaxy card shown here. This card highlights that it's not which colors you use, but more how you use them. For me, I like to think about the individual for whom I'm making the card. So this card here was made for my son using his college colors. But I could have also used his favorite colors or team colors. In fact, this card here, I made a very similar one to this shaker card in blue and silver with little footballs. That's because my son is a major Detroit Lions fan. This leads me to my next tip, which is to tailor your cards to the recipient. For example, this card here is very similar to a card I made for my mom's partner. He's a bird watcher, and his favorite bird is a hummingbird. And while I wouldn't necessarily give this card to my younger son that likes the Detroit Lions more, this guy liked the card so much that he displayed it on his fireplace mantle for several months because it was catered to him. And the same goes for this card. This is my husband Father's Day card and from last year. And my husband and I love those old VW buses. We also love tropical vacations, and nothing says tropical like palm trees and colorful sunsets. So I combined these interests and made them into his Father's Day card, and he loved it. These cards were made at the Concord and Ninth Winter Retreat, and they are perfect for the nature lovers and campers that I have in my life. And who doesn't love a good pop-up card? I like to collect cutting dies and stamps with my loved ones in mind, but sometimes it also relies on thinking outside the box a little. A few months ago, my husband wanted me to make a thank you card for someone who did him a huge favor. The only thing I know about him is that he likes martial arts. So this is a replica of that card that I made. I ended up remaking it because I didn't like how large the white circle was on this first one. But the point is, even though this has nothing to do with martial arts, it has enough of a cultural vibe that he immediately understood the connection and loved that it was made for him in mind. So I came up with the idea for this video because of these two cards shown here. The birthday card is for my son's birthday that's next week. He's an avid fisher, so when I saw these cutting dies from Honeybee, I knew that I would get good use out of them. But the funny thing is, the card on the right is for my neighbor. She's a retired widow who goes fishing about 5 times a week every summer. And that goes back to my last tip and my most important point. If you're tailoring your cards to the recipient, there's no need to worry about how gendered the card looks. And if you're ever unsure, classic shapes, grungy looks, and color symbolism are great go-tos for creating cards. Well, if you've ever struggled with making cards for men, I hope this video helped alleviate some of those concerns. Thanks for watching and giving the video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. And always remember the card maker's rule. If someone doesn't like your cards, that person no longer gets cards. Have a good one. See you next week.